Today on the channel, it's a return to the Kyle Peterson Top 5, and today we got a Marty party as we're strutting and strolling, rocking and rolling into a Marty Jannetty Top 5.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 5. A Thursday tradition here on the channel where every Thursday we're counting down top 5 and top 10 favorites of something. In today's video, we're counting down my top 5 Marty Jannetty figures of all time. Marty Jannetty, an unsung hero of the 80s. We know what happened with Shawn Michaels in his career. Marty went a different direction, which was unfortunate. But Marty, a workhorse back in the day, always putting on good matches in the 80s into the 90s, and a favorite of mine. Now, he wasn't quite Legion of Doom, Powers of Pain, Demolition level for me. Maybe if he would put some face paint on him and Shawn. But I always respected the Rockers, always enjoyed the Rockers as kind of the Rock and Roll Express, Rockers yin and yang between the WWF and the NWA back in the day. So Marty Jannetty, a very respectable performer. Unfortunately, all these years later, kind of thought of, not really for his wrestling, which is always unfortunate. If you're a wrestler, that's what you want to be thought of at least first. But Marty's had some issues, of course, over the years. And I always remember when I think Marty Jannetty, I always think of the funny thing. When I was a kid growing up, I was like 13, 14 maybe, and there was a little 6-year-old kid by me that lived by me. Story time with Kyle here. And this kid would always come up and, hey, can you talk to me? Can you play with me and stuff? And want to play video games? And can I watch you play video games? So, you know, I befriended this little 6, 7-year-old kid. I'm nice to everybody, but I was pretty nice to him. But one day I was like late for work or late for school or something, and I had to kind of blow him off. I'm like, hey, and he was all sad. You know, the next time he saw me, oh, I just was so sad you couldn't talk to me or something like that. And I remember telling him, well, that wasn't me. That was my twin brother. We don't let him out of the house very often, but his name's Jannetty Peterson. So you got to be careful of Jannetty. He's got a bad attitude sometimes. And then I would play on that joke for years to come until he got smart enough to realize it wasn't true. But I remember him saying, is Jannetty around? I don't want to be around if Jannetty's around. And I always remember that joke out there. And if I saw that kid, he'd probably remember the evil Jannetty Peterson out there. So that's story time with Kyle. But now we're going to dive into the top 5. And of course, this is my list. Get your list together. Make sure you put it in the comments down below. And of course, put it in order. That's the hard part. That is the fun part. So without further ado, let's start it off at number 5. We begin the countdown at number 5, and number 5 was technically the second Marty Jannetty figure of all time. However, it was the first one I ever owned in my collection. Of course, we're going to the Hasbro days. We're going to that Rockers 2-pack. What a game changer. A lot of battles with Demolition, as you can imagine. LOD, natural disasters, you name it. But Marty Jannetty, a star of the show. And I definitely preferred the Marty Jannetty Hasbro over the Shawn Michaels. Just better to play with, looked better. It's kind of a reverse jumper. He's got that jumper move, but you move the arm and it moves up. It's different than the gimmick where you pop him up and do that. So a very interesting one in the jumper, I guess, family. But always enjoyed this Marty Jannetty. And then once the other Marty Jannetty figure came out, I always used it as a different guy, as like a jobber, things like that. So I always got use out of this figure, no matter what I was doing in my Hasbro playing days. Very iconic. One of the key Hasbros that really seemed like almost everybody had was the Rockers, and Marty Jannetty, a big part of that, as you can imagine. And this one coming in at number 5. We carry on the countdown at number 4, and number 4 is very, very sad to this day that this is his only Mattel figure. It is the Mattel Elite Rockers 2-pack. Marty Jannetty. Just very, very sad we never got any more Marty Jannettys out of Mattel. We've got a million Shawn Michaels. Don't think we need a million Marty Jannettys, but there's definitely a few more Marty Jannettys we need in our collection. Would love to see them one day. Hopefully we can get that figured out. But this Marty, always respectable, always good, especially in the infancy of the Mattel Legends line, part of a Legends 2-pack with Shawn Michaels, of course, the Rockers. A very, very good figure, and a lot of people have taken the heads off some of these, so it's a pretty rare figure, even rarer now because a lot of people remove the heads, put it on the Retrofest Shawn Michaels to make a different era and different version of Rockers. I did that myself. I was actually at a toy show one time. There was a beaten, battered body Marty Jannetty, but miraculously the head was amazing. So I got the figure really cheap, threw the body away, took the head, put it on another Retrofest Sean, and bam, got another edition of the Rockers here. But hopefully one day we can get some more Marty Jannetty figures. But as of right now, this is the only Mattel Elite, and it's coming in at number 4. At the number 3 spot in the Marty Jannetty countdown, make sure you get your list together. Make sure you put it in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Every Thursday we got countdown videos. But number 3 is the latest and greatest from Mr. Rockin' and Rollin', Struttin' and Strollin' himself, Marty Jannetty. It comes to us from the Major Bendies and their Big Rubber Guys line. Absolutely fantastic figure, and as of right now of filming, the absolute sleeper figure of the Big Rubber Guys. An amazing figure. I love this Marty Jannetty figure, and it is way better than I expected it to be. I wasn't down on this one coming out, but this one blew me away. It's an amazing figure. I love the posability that we got with Marty here. I guess the pose, I should say, with Marty Jannetty. Looks just like Marty Jannetty, classic colors. Really the biggest gripe I have with this one is we don't have a Shawn Michaels to match it. It would have been cool to see him in the alternate pose with this arm up and this arm and side by side. Man, that would have been awesome. Just not in the cards, at least as of right now it is not. But this Marty Jannetty, absolutely fabulous, and could possibly be right at the top of the Big Rubber Guy figures so far. Obviously not for name value, but I think of posability. I keep wanting to say posability, not really posability, but the pose he's in, the likeness, just everything about this is absolutely perfect. Absolutely love this one. The Big Rubber Guy, Marty Jannetty, coming in at number 3. Getting dangerously close to the top spot. Here we are at number 2, and the number 2 Marty Jannetty figure comes to us as a Walmart exclusive. It comes to us for one of my all-time favorite lines, the Jakks Classic Superstars line. And of course, I don't know if you guys were aware, I did write a book on the Jakks Classic Superstars. Check out Amazon, check out Barnes & Noble, pick up your copy. Check out the complete history of Jakks Classic Superstars, which this figure will be in it. This one is the Walmart exclusive 3-pack with Tito Santana, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, known as the Jobbers 3-pack. It is Marty Jannetty. And when I think of that 3-pack line, this is always one of the first figures that comes to my mind. I don't know if because he was at Walmart a lot, it was very colorful. Not exactly sure why, but I've always absolutely loved this figure. I've always thought this was a beautiful figure. I love the kind of crazy 90s colors with this one. Of course, this was Marty's return. Of course, he also won the Intercontinental title. That was a pretty big milestone for him, I would say. Just an absolute fun figure. And of course, we got 2 Marty Jannetty figures from the Jakks Classic Superstars line. But this one was always the standout for me. Always enjoyed this one. Always loved this one. And that's why it comes in at number 2. And like a young Highlander, there can only be one. What is the number 1 Marty Jannetty figure of all time? Well, stay tuned. We have arrived at the number 1 Marty Jannetty figure of all time. Once again, make sure you get your list together. Put it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We got videos every single day and then some. But the number 1 Marty Jannetty figure of all time, once again, we return to the old school Hasbro line. We go to the solo career. Marty Jannetty, of course, in the Rick Martel Macho Man position pose here. Absolutely an all-timer, one of the best playability poses of all time from Hasbro. You could do so much with this one, and a great figure. Very similar in some ways to the Virgil figure, which we did a top 5 Virgil on the channel. Check that out. As this one could go up and down the card depending on what was going on with my Fig Fed and what I was playing with. He was a nice high flyer. I'd put him in tag team, 3-man, 6-man tags, Survivor Series teams. He would have a run at the Intercontinental title with against Shawn Michaels, of course, as was happening on TV at the time. And then, of course, he would also, get squashed against Andre the Giant or something like that. So a versatile figure in your Fig Fed, a fun one, an iconic one, once again with those crazy neon colors, 90s colors, I guess I should say, not necessarily neon, but just a great Marty Jannetty figure, a great one to play with, and a very good one to utilize in a Figure Fed, and one that definitely stands out, and it stands out so much for me, it's the number 1 Marty Jannetty figure of all time. So there it is, Marty Jannetty, top 5. Hopefully we get some more Marty Jannettys in the future. We'll see what ends up happening from there. I'm hoping one day we get some more Mattel Elites of him. That would be great to see. We'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens in the end. But once again, put your list in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over on Patreon. Patreon, best way to support this very YouTube channel and all the content it does bring. You can also support the channel, ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. And of course, social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Marty Jannetty, I'm Jannetty Peterson. See you guys all real soon.